Welcome to MMAPlay365, I'm Newsome, and I'm here to give you a Base AI recap from last weekend's event at UFC Singapore from the AI perspective. Now, from the straight pick prediction accuracy, it was a little over 50%. It was a real hit and miss event. Even for myself, I completely broke even. The fun parlays on the MMAPlay365 betting hub was about 50% as well, so it was one of those events that was really hit and miss throughout. So yeah, Base AI followed that trend. But even though it was a little bit hit and miss, there was some solid winners, there was some good value. So again, that's why we do these recaps, so I can run over some of the fights that are definitely worth noting. Of course, we don't run through every single fight, but I do pick 4 or 5 every single week that I'll break down and talk about in a little bit more depth. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And we're going to start in the solid winners section this week. And the first fight that we're going to talk about is Michal Oleksiejczuk versus Chidi and Njokuani. This was one that Base AI beat me on. We went head to head, myself and the software, the algorithms. I bet Chidi and Njokuani, and man, he actually started that fight off really, really well. But like I said on X or Twitter, whatever we're calling it now, sometimes it pays to be the better nail rather than being the great hammer, and that's exactly what described Oleksiejczuk. You know, he was a great nail, and Njokuani landed a ton of strikes on him. He went through those strikes and ended up breaking Njokuani and finishing him, and Base AI was correct. So Base AI had Oleksiejczuk to win at 54%. At 54%, the odds implied there is minus 117. Now, Oleksiejczuk actually opened up around minus 170, so from the opening line there was no value. However, he did toy it around the minus 110 pick'em. I think he closed at around minus 115, minus 120. So depending on where and when you bet Oleksiejczuk, depended on whether you actually got value from that 54%. If you'd bet him at minus 110, minus 115, then of course you've got some value there from Base AI's predictions. If you bet him outside of that, then the value wasn't there. But overall, it was a correct straight pick prediction from Base AI that had Oleksiejczuk to win at 54%. Now we're going to go one step further. Base AI had Oleksiejczuk to win inside the distance or by finish, however your bookie labels that market. But you get that inside the distance or by finish by adding together the KO, TKO and submission percentages that Base AI gives you. And Oleksiejczuk to win inside the distance was 43%. The odds implied at 43% is plus 133. And if you go to the bookies, wanted inside the distance or fighter to win by finish, you'd have got plus 145 on Oleksiejczuk. So there was value there on inside the distance as well as the value there on the money line, again, depending on where and when you bet Oleksiejczuk. Now we're going to go one step further again. Of course, Oleksiejczuk is more of a striker, a knockout artist. So if you didn't want the inside the distance and you just wanted the knockout TKO, you could have got Oleksiejczuk to win by knockout TKO at 38% from Base AI's prediction. At 38%, the odds implied is plus 163. So Base AI is saying that Oleksiejczuk to win by knockout should be plus 163. But you take that over to the bookies and you're getting anywhere from plus 175 to plus 195. So again, you've got some value. It's not an exciting amount of value, but it's value nonetheless. And we're going to go one step further again. This is a bit of a gem, this one, Oleksiejczuk and Chidi and Njokuani. So Oleksiejczuk to win by knockout in round 1 specifically was 24% from Base AI. Now at 24%, Base AI is saying that Oleksiejczuk to win by knockout should be plus 317. And again, if you go to the bookies, you're now getting plus 400. So big number on the ticket there. But again, no matter what you bet, whether that was Oleksiejczuk to win outright, him to win by finish, by knockout TKO specifically, or by knockout TKO in round 1 even more specifically, you'd have got value on every single method of victory from an Oleksiejczuk win perspective. So overall, a really good prediction from Base AI for the Oleksiejczuk and Chidi and Njokuani fight. And next up, we've got Garrett Armfield versus Toshiomi Kazama. Of course, Armfield absolutely destroyed Kazama on the night. Base AI had Armfield to win at 58%. Now, at 58%, the odds implied is minus 138. If you go to the bookies, again, depending on where and when you bet Armfield, you'd have got anywhere from minus 210 to minus 145. So there wasn't any value in that straight money line bet from Armfield's perspective. Even though Base AI got a correct prediction and predicted Armfield to win, there was no value betting the money line. So then we look a little bit further. You go for Armfield to win inside the distance. Now, inside the distance, again, add your knockout, TKO, and submission percentages together, and Bayes AI is giving you 48%. The odds implied on 48% is plus 108. Now, just notice the difference between the inside the distance and the Armfield win. There's only a 10% difference. So at plus 108 odds implied, you go to the bookies, you're getting plus 135. So now we're finding value. There wasn't value in the money line bet, but now there's value inside the distance. And we're going to go another step further again. So Armfield to win by KO TKO, 34% from Bayes AI. So Bayes AI is saying that Armfield to win by knockout should be plus 194 at the bookies, and you go to the bookies and you're getting plus 250. Again, there's value there as well. We're going to go one step further once again. We've got Armfield to win by KO TKO in round 1 specifically. This is the good one. 27% from Bayes AI. Now, the first thing that you might think is, well, 27% is such a low number. But remember, it's all about using maths, implied probability, and seeing where you're finding value, because at 27%, the odds implied is plus 270. So Bayes AI is saying for Armfield to win in round 1, he should be plus 270, but you go to the bookies and you're getting up to plus 650, which is an insane number at the bookies, insane value. So even though that 27% is really low, you've got a tremendous amount of value from what Bayes AI is giving as a percentage to where the bookies are seeing it, and the big number and the value is on the KO TKO round 1. So again, to recap that, no value in the money line, so you then move to inside the distance, or if you didn't want to go inside the distance, you can pick knockout TKO specifically, or again, even more specifically, the knockout TKO in round 1. The inside the distance KO and KO round 1 will have all cashed for you. Again, another solid winner from Bayes AI. And in the next fight to talk about, we've got Erin Blanchfield versus Taila Santos. This was the fight at the top of the division, a real high-level fight, and it played out like that as well. Bayes AI had Blanchfield to win at 53%, which of course she did. Now, Blanchfield to win at 53%, the odds implied on that is minus 113. So Bayes AI is basically saying that Blanchfield should be just outside of a pick'em in this fight. Very, very slight favourite. And Blanchfield to win was anywhere from minus 175 to minus 120. It was up and down all week. The best line you could have got is minus 120 though. And of course, there's no value there, because Bayes AI is saying that she shouldn't be anything higher than minus 113. So then we can move to Blanchfield's method, the method of victory that Bayes AI thinks Blanchfield is going to win by, and that was Blanchfield to win by decision, which again, of course, she did. Now, Blanchfield to win by decision, Bayes AI had at 25%. At 25%, the odds implied is plus 300. At the bookies, it was plus 165. So again, no value there in the method of victory either. So anybody that's purchased the subscription and they're looking at the percentages, this is a clear example of a fight where Bayes AI is giving you some percentages, but almost saying, look, just pass on the fight because there's no value at all. And that was probably the smart thing to do, because it was such a high-level fight, such a close fight. Bayes AI saw it that way as well. It played out that way. You know, Santos destroyed Blanchfield round 1. Blanchfield, switched it up round 2 and 3 and scraped out the decision. And like I say, it was one of those fights where it was probably just better to not have any action, sit back and watch. And I think Bayes AI did a really good job in justifying that as well. So yeah, all in all, a correct prediction, but a good justification of probably why there was no value and you should have stayed away from betting that fight. And the last fight that we're going to talk about is Giga Chikadze and Alex Caceres. So Bayes AI had Chikadze to win at 63%, so relatively confident. At 63%, the odds implied is minus 170. Chikadze opened up at minus 175, closed at around minus 250. I personally bet Chikadze with 4 units, so a pretty heavy bet from me, and I got him around minus 200. So I was pretty much smack in the middle of that range there. But even so, the best line you could have got on Chikadze was minus 175, and at minus 170, odds implied from Bayes AI. Again, Bayes AI was saying there was no value there. So from Bayes AI's perspective, there was no value. So you can look into this a little bit further. Now, the Chikadze and Caceres fight went to a decision. Of course, Chikadze won, so it was a correct prediction from Bayes AI. But the highest percentage method of victory from Chikadze was the knockout, and of course that didn't materialize. However, there is a market that I've seen in the UK, and I know that exists, outside of the UK as well. I couldn't find it on fightodds.io, and I don't think it was there on Best Fight Odds, but sometimes it's just worth a look. So it's another market I wanted to talk about. So Chikadze to win by KO or decision. Now, to get that percentage, you add Chikadze's knockout TKO percentage with the decision percentage, and you get your KO or decision. So in the UK, we call it double chance. So Chikadze, if he wins by knockout or decision, the likelihood of him winning by submission was very small. He's a striker. So to win by knockout or decision was actually 50%. At 50%, the odds implied is plus 100. Now, I couldn't see any prior betting line history for this particular market, so I'm not sure what that price actually was. Like I said, 50% Base AI is saying it should be. It might have been. There might have been some value there. There might not have been. I'm not sure. So the whole point of me just talking about this is to just always have a look at the different markets that your bookie offers, because there's different ways, and I say this all the time, there's different ways you can use Base AI to maximize trying to find value, profit, and cash in your bets. And this is another market that I've not mentioned before. Like I said, in the UK, it's called double chance. And again, there's a mixture that double chance could be Chikadze by submission or decision, or knockout or submission. So there's the different variations of it, but my advice is to always look at the different markets that your book is offering and seeing if there's a way that you can find value on that betting line by using Base AI's AI predictions. So yeah, there's that there for you to think about as well. And aside from that, that's the end of the recap, run through those 4 fights for you. Really excited for UFC Paris next weekend, and excited to see what the AI is producing for that event and the fights there as well. So of course, we'll be back again next week to recap UFC Paris. Until then, I'm Newsome. Thank you for listening.